Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We're a church of open minds and loving hearts, even on cold, spring, wet sort of days, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your identities are welcome here. Special welcome to visitors or newcomers. We're glad you're here. There's nursery care available, as well as activities for kids following the Time for All Ages. All are welcome. And you can join us between service each week downstairs in the Commons for refreshment and conversation, where you can find ways to get connected and involved in the life of the church, including social justice work. There's a special sign-up today to provide transportation to an asylum-seeking family that we've been supporting for some time. Their vehicle broke down, and so they need some support with transportation needs, giving rides to school and to soccer practice, either occasionally or on a consistent basis. So if you're interested and able to help with that at all, there's a sign up downstairs in the Commons. There'll be one in the e-news as well. Thanks for helping. You can find announcements in your order of service, including upcoming events on the back cover of your order of service to stay connected to the life of the church. Today we're glad to welcome our guest musician, Katrina Chan, a wonderful pianist and organist as well. Thank you for sharing your gifts of music with us today. And today is a special service. Throughout the year, we ask church members to share reflections on spiritual journey and beliefs, and we're grateful this day to Abby Lohr and Darren Podolsky-Smith for sharing with us. Thanks for being here this morning. Each week, our offering goes out our doors to support our values in the community. For April, we've been collecting for the Land Stewardship Project, working at the intersection of economic and environmental justice. Today's the last Sunday we'll be collecting for that work. You can give as a plates pass or anytime online. Thank you for your generosity for that work. And two upcoming events. Today at 12:30 downstairs in the Commons, I'll lead a forum called Afterthoughts Theology. Today's topic will be a discussion of the proposed changes to our UU7 principles that are being discussed on the national level. So you can come at 12:30 today. You can bring a lunch or snacks to share as well. All are welcome down in the Commons. And next Sunday, between services, is our annual May Day celebration with the maypole in the upper parking lot. You can come celebrate this traditional rite of spring as we weave ribbons together in minor to moderate chaos, but a lot of joy and fun. So that's between services next week, right after 10 o'clock, just outside the main doors. So all are welcome. Wednesday evening, you can join us for supper, followed by choir, youth group, a children's activities, and a forum. And this week's forum is a special one, and for that we have a special announcement from our board.
All right, good morning. So yes, as Luke said, I get the honor of sharing with you some exciting news about recommendations the Building Our Future team and our board are putting forward at this time. Earlier this month, the board announced that due to quickly moving real estate market, we had submitted an offer for the Viola Road property. Over the past few weeks, the Building Our Future team, in conjunction with Locus Architecture, those are the architectures we've hired, have been gathering the information we needed to determine whether the Viola property is suitable for building our new church. And with what they have learned, the Building Our Future team has recommended the Viola Board property as the best choice for our future church location. Yes, very exciting. The board unanimously supports this recommendation and asks for the congregation vote of approval to finalize the purchase. The board would like to invite you to a special property forum this Wednesday, May 3rd at 6:30 after the Tupper Supper to learn more about the rationale behind the board's recommendation and to answer any questions that you may have. And then Wednesday's forum also kicks off our church property vote that will run from Wednesday, May 3rd until Sunday, May 7th. To move forward, a quorum of at least 30% of church members must vote. And of those voting, 51% or more must be in favor of the Viola Road location. Per our bylaws, those who have been members for at least 60 days are eligible to vote. Please contact the office if you have questions or need verification of your membership. If the congregation votes to approve the Viola property as our next church home, we will finalize the purchase of the property on May 10th. We encourage you to drive by the Viola property to see it if you haven't already done so. If you wish to explore the property further, like get out of the car and walk around, please keep in mind that we do not yet own it, and you need to complete a liability release available online at the Building Our Future page on our church. As I said at the beginning, this is an exciting and historic time for our congregation. We hope you'll join us for the forum on Wednesday, May 3rd, to learn more. Thanks.
Thank you. All that information will be shared in an e-news that will be going out today as well, so join us this Wednesday for that forum. Thank you, Paul. So I invite you to take a breath as we enter our time of worship together. With these words from the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes, our minister in the 1870s. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, the music will call us back, but I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you.
Our chalice lighting this morning is from James Villa Blake. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
I'd like to invite the children forward today. I know there's some out there. I saw them come in. So this month we've been talking about resistance, and we've been talking about resisting hate and resisting peer pressure and resisting not having a voice. And so today we're going to take a little bit of a twist, and we usually talk about resisting too much work. When you get tired to be tired. Sorry. Okay. But today, sometimes there's times when you need to resist stopping. And one of the things that keeps us going in all of this is love. And so that's today's story, which, are we going to even bother? Okay. That's okay. We were going to use the screen to project the pictures, but I do have like the world's largest book today. But it is called The Love in My Heart, and it's by Tim Bugbird and Nadine Wickenden. Big and Boo were resting. After bouncing in the forest all day, they were a long way from home, and Boo was very tired. How many of you get tired after being gone from home for a long time by the end of the day? And how many of you are like, Mom, Dad, Aunt, Uncle, Grandma, will you carry me? No one ever does that? Well, that may happen. So Boo says, I don't think I can make it all the way back to my burrow. My paws are just too sore. Your feet get tired? Yeah. Big smiled and took Boo's hand. Well, I know you can, and you know why? Said Big. And Big is thinking, because I can't carry you all that way. But Big really says, with all the love in our hearts, we can do anything. And they walked, and Big began to explain. The love in our hearts could scent every flower. You agree with that, Harriet? The love in our hearts could cloak every tree. Right? There is no doubt in my mind we could fill every river with the ripples of love all the way to the sea. So not only are they walking back, what are they doing? Looking at different things, right? And having a good time. And remembering that the love that we share could fill a rainbow. What's the rainbow full of? What are the shapes in there? Purple. What are these shapes that are all in there? Hearts. The rainbow built with love. It could fill the rainbow with plenty left over to light up the sky with all of those stars. All the love in our hearts could cap every mountain with the soft, snowy blankets of caring piled high. You like this book? It is a good book, isn't it? Does it have panda bears in it? Are those panda bears? No, they're bunny rabbits. The love in our hearts could change thunder to song and carpet a pathway no matter how long. More hearts, right? The love in our hearts could turn gray skies to blue. With love, we can do anything, just me and you. And before they knew it, Big and Boo were home, snuggled up in their cozy burrow. I love you, whispered Big. But Boo was already sound asleep. Do any of you fall asleep on the way home from somewhere? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes, yeah. So sometimes we have to resist stopping and remember what keeps us going. And what keeps us going? Love. All right. As Austin plays the children's benediction, we'll head out over there. The words and music are in the back of the gray hymnal.
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I invite you to settle in here as we create a place of communal caring and connection. It's our time to pause amidst the busyness of our lives, to slow down enough to consider the beauty that is here all around us, and to open a space for listening and love. Here we honor all who support us in this caring, loving, and all-inclusive ministry. We share gratitude this morning with Ann Lean, who is serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends in need. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. And life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us. And if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke or myself with that request. Today's flowers are shared by Anne and Richard Hutton, celebrating 20 years as UUs, with many wonderful memories and much excitement for the years ahead. In this community, we share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because all people here have value. Each person's experience matters. We lift up those who are experiencing sadness, illness, or loneliness. May the strength and love in our congregation help guide you. We revel in those who are experiencing joys in their lives. May their happiness lift us all, and may their joy filter into all around them. We hold in our hearts this morning Erica Beecher and family. Erica's mother, Carol Ann Shreve, 85, of Barnum, Minnesota, died on April 13th. She passed away peacefully in Rochester, Minnesota from late-stage dementia, and we hold the family and all who knew Carol in our thoughts. And Kathy Meinhardt shares the news of the passing of her father, Donald H. Pearson, age 96, of Rochester. He passed away on Monday, April 24th. Donald was a World War II veteran and lived each day to the very fullest. As they process this magnitude of loss within their family, we send strength and love. Here, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith is our focus. Let us carry that out into the wider world. May the faith and the spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath. You yourself made of earth and stars. Know that in this house you are named, you are known as beloved, as sacred. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of many names and beyond all naming. Each day as we wake to the news in the world and in the heart, it can be hard to filter through all there is to be grateful for and all there is to be heartbroken about. Most days it's a mix of both, and finding the right balance can be hard between joy and outrage, between contentment and protest, between being awestruck by hatred and by love. Help us find our voice, our gifts, in a way where we remember we each do our part, no more and no less, and that we need not carry it alone. Remind us that it is only together with hearts and voices and action and art that we help hold together the beauty and the possibility that is this world. Hold in our hearts this day all those who suffer in mind, in body, or spirit. Invite you to bring the names you're holding in your own heart this day, in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time, to speak their names. For all the names spoken and all those held in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, may we be forever grateful. These words of meditation come from Kim Crawford Harvey. She writes, "It takes courage to be crocus-minded. I'd rather wait until June like wild roses when the hazards of winter are safely behind, but crocuses? Knifing up through the hard frozen ground and snow, sticking their necks out because they believe in spring and have something emphatic to say about it. I'm not by nature crocus-minded. Even when I have studied the situation and know there are wrongs that need righting, affirmations that need stating, and know that my speaking may offend or rock the boat, I'd rather wait till June. Maybe later things will just work themselves out, and we won't have to make an issue out of it. Forgive me, though, wrongs won't work themselves out. Injustices or inequities and hurt don't just dissolve. Somebody has to stick their neck out. Somebody who cares enough to think through and walk through hard ground because they believe they have something emphatic to say about it. Me? Crocus-minded? Could it be there are things that need to be said and that I need to say them? I pray for courage. May it be so. Amen. The hymn is number 34 in the gray hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing. first reading is from Zucesta Norman Fisher. The world around you is sacred. The world around you is not as it appears to be. Its appearance is miraculous, as is yours. Each thing is not itself. It stands for something else. Each thing stands for itself, the mask that masks the endlessness of that thing, of everything, of you. And from Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. In gratitude, we'll receive today's offering.
Good morning. When asked to give a talk about what I believe, I said yes, without really thinking through what I might say. I mentioned to my spouse, Noah, that I accepted this assignment, and he made 2 helpful suggestions. 1, just recite the lyrics to I Believe I Can Fly. Or 2, just type the questions Luke sent into ChatGPT. Since I'm not a huge fan of that song, I opted for the second option. So here's what I believe according to ChatGPT. As an AI language model, I don't have access to your personal beliefs or thoughts. It is up to you to determine your own beliefs, based on your experiences, values, and understanding of the world around you. If you're struggling to clarify your beliefs, you may find it helpful to reflect on your values, explore different perspectives and opinions, and engage in critical thinking and self-reflection. At this point in the process, I had learned 2 things. First, I don't think our minister needs to worry about his job security. Second, both Luke and ChatGPT seem to be pushing me toward self-reflection, so I turned to my own writing. One of the daily practices that centers me is journaling. My personal writing has evolved over time, from a description of my daily activities to my current practice of writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for from my day, which often feels more feasible as an often exhausted mom. I've been hesitant to reread journals because it feels too personal and embarrassing. Before I started reading, I thought my present-day self would disagree with what I'd written long ago. However, I learned that despite being a UU and believing in a continuous, free, and responsible search for truth and meaning, my beliefs really haven't dramatically changed. And the whole experience wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. So here's a list of 3 things I believed in the past and how my thinking has evolved. Age 11, October 20th, 1995. I feel really happy when I'm with my friends. Today I believe in friendship more than ever. Making friends as an adult can be so hard without the scaffolding of school or childhood adventures. The desire to make more friends was one reason why I returned to this church after being gone for 20 years. I feel so grateful for the new friends I've made here and the old friendships I've rekindled. You all have inspired me to pursue new activities like reading poetry and trail running, while also reminding me to be patient with myself as I learn to parent. Age 17, sometime in 2002. In my coming-of-age statement, I had a section on weaknesses. In it, I included, like everyone else, I hold prejudices. I know I can't prevent myself from discriminating against one group or another in my mind, but because I know my thoughts are prejudiced, I can prevent my actions from being discriminatory. While I do still agree that we all hold unconscious biases, and being aware of them is one step toward preventing discrimination, my thoughts on this have evolved. I'm in the middle of writing a paper with some Somali colleagues on the discrimination they experience. During a conversation on how to interpret our statistical results, one community leader shared a recent experience in Rochester. The story starts with the love for one delicious salad made by one chain restaurant. My friend's commitment to this specific salad was so strong, sometimes he would order it multiple times a week. But one day, while waiting for a colleague to join him for lunch, one of the restaurant employees, who looked much like me, asked him if he was an Uber Eats driver. When he said no, she asked him, "Then why are you here?" Thereby making the assumption that the only reason a Somali man would be in this restaurant was in a service role and not as a customer. My friend was angry and frustrated, and so he left. He and all his coworkers decided never to return to that restaurant. You may be wondering, why didn't he complain? Why didn't he report the employee? The reason he got up and left without a word was twofold. In the past, in a related situation, when he spoke up, the young woman cried. And he shared with me that all he could think was, I could be this girl's father or grandfather. He felt guilty for making that girl cry and didn't want to make another young white woman cry. Stories like these remind me of my white privilege. After all, I too have cried white lady tears. Yet I believe that all people should be treated fairly and kindly, and in the importance of working for a peaceful, fair, and free world. I believe that as a white person, not only do I need to learn about my prejudices, but also to act. For me, that means listening to and then centering voices from the margins, advocating for health equity, and embracing constructive feedback on how to be more welcoming, respectful, and empathetic. In this way, I hope to prevent situations like what happened to my friend while also being open to changing my behaviors so that my actions can better reflect my beliefs. Finally, I believe in finding joy in small things every day. Here are some examples of things I've been grateful for in the last couple years. September 25th, 2016, homegrown sweet potatoes, loving and supportive parents, and an amazing partner. May 29th, 2017, knitting on the couch while listening to podcasts and eating chocolate. My hand blender, air conditioning. March 20th, 2021, tucking Harriet's hair behind her ear, walking in the park with friends, bike trailers, eating leftovers, and my spouse. April 4th, 2021, getting through norovirus as a family. Paid sick leave, oral rehydration solution, Harriet's dance, and wandering in the park with Harriet. December 4th, 2022, chatting with church friends, Harriet napped, saw a woodpecker on my walk, sunshine, and my mom. And February 27th, 2023, reading and snuggling with Harriet as she wakes up, going to the library with Harriet and her excitement about books, spending time with a former colleague, and feeling like I'm in the right place at the right time. These memories represent brief moments of happiness. Reading them again reminds me to focus on the present moment and the people in my life who nurture me. Reflecting about what I believe as a UU was challenging, but it was comforting to read through past thoughts and realize that I do have core values that have guided my life. I know my beliefs will continue to evolve and change, and I look forward to exploring new frontiers of friendship, equity, and simple joys with you all.
When I was a boy, a student at St. Paul's Evangelical Lutheran School in Wisconsin Rapids, I read something in the Bible that caught my attention. In the Gospel of Mark, some people bring a blind man to Jesus to restore his sight. Jesus puts some of his spit on the man's eyes and puts his hands on him. And the man says, "I see men like trees walking." And then Jesus repeats the same procedure, and then the man can see. Now, I know the Bible is full of strange and some horrible and some wonderful things, and I knew not to take this too literally, but I did find it really exciting. First of all, Jesus didn't get it right the first time. In the story, he's a kind of like a Hebrew shaman, proceeding through trial and error, which is a little different than the Jesus who dies for your sins, a kind of abstracted symbol. But more importantly, what was that guy seeing? For a few moments, the man had different eyes. And unless we're just talking about an astigmatism, it suggests to me that the authors of the Bible thought that the way we as humans see might not be the only way. God, or angels, or maybe even trees have their own different perspectives. And if that's true, maybe it's not just something limited to vision with our eyes. Maybe there's different ways of perceiving time or space or identity. The miracle, while good for the guy, certainly, is kind of a distraction. It's a one-off. What's exciting to me about this story is what it says about the ordinary world, that it's stranger and maybe more interesting than what we thought. And if we could see it differently, we could maybe see it as angels do, or God, or trees. There are insects that can see motion but not shapes. There are bats who perceive objects with great detail using sound. Turtles and salmon sense and navigate the magnetism of the earth. Wolves conceptually organize space and time with odors. Whales can hear each other's low-frequency sounds across 10,000 miles of ocean. Ants and bees seem to perceive the world as a community, like one body with 1,000 bodies. To consider what I believe, what I can say with some certainty about this great matter of life and death, I start by considering that I am not the center of the universe, and that as attached as I am to my life and all that I love, so is everybody else. And so are the animals, and maybe the trees, and maybe even that piano, and the clouds, or the city. How could we say anything definitive without considering all perspectives? My family took a summer trip to Alaska in 1975. Some family friends lived on the Kenai Peninsula, and we spent some time on Ketchimek Bay near Homer. Surrounded by jagged, cold blue mountains, the bay has some of the highest tides in the world, near 30 feet. So when the tide retreats, it leaves wonderful heaps of bizarre flotsam. Wood, glass, sinks, toilets, metal chairs, heavy cable twisted with string and yarn, pieces of boats, a big wheel bike, shoes tangled and mangled up with clothing. It all appears at one low tide and then disappears at the next. Clearly, the ocean is a vast, breathing, untamed creature. And sometime later, my art teacher gave me a wonderful book, Annals of the Former World by John McPhee, about the geology of the North American continent. He says, in order to describe the history of the land, we need to consider deep time, or geological time. Hundreds of millions of years, during which mountain ranges are pushed up inch by inch and then slowly worn down through rain and snow, until they become shallow seas, which are then pushed up again. Whole continents drifting apart or crashing together. Seasons rolling through by the hundreds of millions, with all of human history just one little hair's breadth of time at the very end. And as you probably know, the current best scientific understanding of the origin of this universe is that it's about 14 billion years old, and that once all matter and time and space were constricted in one point. But of course, that doesn't really mean anything, because if you put all of time and space into one point, it's not really moving. It's not really time or space at all. At that energy, it loses all meaning. All of which makes me think that surely there is much more to this world, to this universe, than what I can see and hear and feel. That the obvious limitations of my senses and my little lifespan, my location on the surface of the earth, means that my view is not the only possible view. And so if you ask me what I believe, I would say, not too much. We're born and we die. I don't know if we have a purpose, and if we did, how would we even know it? I don't know what we are besides this grab bag of experiences and memories, sometimes sweet and sometimes unbearable longing. And so when I first read about Zen Buddhism, I thought, aha, here is something. My spiritual life does not have to start with believing. I don't need to decide if I believe in God, or whether there's an afterlife, or the nature of what is good. I can stay in not knowing, not believing anything, but not unbelieving either. I can base my spiritual life on not knowing, and that's meditation. I can make it my business to let go of the deciding and the concluding and the judging. Instead, I can just pay attention. And there's real freedom in that. I can let everyone be exactly as they are. They're always changing, they're always surprising, and they're always endless. Freedom can never come from controlling the environment or controlling yourself or other people. Liberation, in the largest sense, is what you might call salvation or enlightenment, is just being awake to what is really going on, inside and out. Not as some idea, but as honest experience. And you might think that to live like that is to be passive, or that if you don't know who you are or where you're going, how can you get anywhere? But I don't think that's the case at all, because my not knowing makes it possible to really bear witness to the joy and the suffering all around. And the less I try to wrestle the world into some idea, to reduce it to a personal point of view, the more that an appropriate response arises. Because wherever there is suffering, there is the natural urge to end it. Just the basic hurt. If you touch a hot stove, you pull away. Isn't that all of a piece with feeling sympathy for someone else? Or our more abstract notions of universal love? It's all just wanting to end suffering. And all of that is what we call, in Zen Buddhism, the Bodhisattva vow. We practice our vows with great faith, great doubt, and great determination. faith in the process of letting go of whatever is small and mean and clingy, faith in the interconnection of all things and people and even purposes, trusting in kindness. But what makes faith great is that it's ordinary. It's not a miracle unless you call it the miracle of everyday miracles. Buds on the tops of trees, or the great ordinary faith of insects and their devotion to the changing seasons. And doubt means questioning. It's curiosity and the dogged pursuit of truth, not settling on some definition or formula and resting there. Doubting our easy answers, our capacity to fool ourselves or to be fooled by those in power. Doubting every border and every inclination to say that some person is other. Great ordinary doubt is out there as well. You can see it in the way that mountains and planets never once succumb to an idea, but they're always doing what they do with pure physical grace. And then great determination, the resolve to carry through on the vow to end all suffering, even though the obstacles to that are infinite. Maybe it's even impossible. Certainly, if it's just me doing it, it's impossible. But determination is great because it is completely ordinary. It's not just in here, it's everywhere. It's the ordinary determination of time advancing. All I need to do is ride the courage and the determination of the universe in its weird, relentless unfolding moment after moment. The closing hymn is number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or the earth in gratitude. In gratitude for these reflections. In gratitude for the journeys we all are on. Whether it be morning journaling and looking back at our thoughts and beliefs, whether it be meditation and the desire to end suffering. May we find ways to nurture all of our hearts and souls, the way that bright morning stars do. Bright morning stars are rising, bright morning